These two, let's just, here, put this back on the engine. Put that up there on that blue one. See that? Put that on the engine. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go somewhere else. You guys are too noisy.
What?
You guys are too noisy.
This on the front of you. It goes right here. Now, this goes right here. See this? See?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The agenda is before you. Any additions, corrections, deletions?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Sams, second by Mr. Farrell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next is we're going into a public hearing. Ordinance 23-10, an ordinance to amend Article 2, caption occupational taxes, administrative fees, regulatory fees of Chapter 26 businesses of the 2001 Revised Code of Ordinances for the purpose of increasing the administrative fee levied and assessed on all occupational tax accounts to establish an effective date to repeal conflicting ordinances, laws, and regulations. Mr. Miller.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, the ordinance will increase the administrative fee by $100 per account. That is because it's currently $100. It will go to $200. It's a simple amendment to the occupational tax code you'll see in the ordinance on the table. The basis for it is a study internally that was done under the auspices of the administrator with the help, I think, of the CFO, the finance department. And it was determined that the cost to maintain this program well justified an average fee on it per account of $200. So the administration's asking that we reset the amount. Many cities do this by resolution year to year. Dalton, is my understanding, this has not been done in some years. In fact, this may be the original administrative fee set, Ms. Chatham, when the ordinance, so it's never been changed. This is the first adjustment that's been made.
Any questions? Your motion?
This is just a public hearing.
Questions? I just said any questions?
I thought this was just a public hearing.
It is.
It would be the hearing. If anyone has any comments, any
We're not
public.
even taking action on this. All right. Anybody got any comments? All right. So now we can close the public
Oh, you
hearing.
might, yes, Mayor.
Your motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Sam, second by Mr. Farrell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. So when do we take action on this?
Right. I think it's the next.
On down, okay, all right. There is no public commentary. The minutes are before you for the mayor and council meeting of June 5th, 2023. Any additions, corrections, deletions?
Move
Motion.
to approve as is.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Sams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Under unfinished business, ordinance 23-10, second reading to amend Article 2, caption occupation taxes, administrative fees, regulatory fees of Chapter 26 businesses of the 2001 Revised Code of Ordinances for the purpose of increasing administrative fee levied and assessed on all occupational tax accounts to establish an effective date to repeal conflicting ordinances, laws, regulations for other purposes.
I move we approve.
Motion by Mr. Farrell,
Second.
second by Ms. Sams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Number 4, ordinance 23-12, second reading, the request of the Whitfield County Board of Commissioners, mayor and council of the city of Dalton, and mayor and council of the city of Varnell to amend Dalton Whitfield Varnell Unified Zoning Ordinance regarding compliance with GAHB 1405.
Mr. Mayor and Council, all the jurisdictions, including the city of Dalton, that are parties to the Unified Zoning Ordinance, that is the Whitfield County Board of Commissioners, and the Varnell Mayor and Council are amending this month in order to be effective July 1, 2023. The UZO, per the requirements of the General Assembly 2022 session, it was House Bill 1405. I know the council took this up for a first reading last Thursday, and Mr. Parker went through it in some detail. There are really only two sections of the existing unified zoning ordinance being changed, Chapter 10 and Chapter 11, and some of the zoning procedure laws. We're having to make a new section on appeals. Zoning decisions can now be appealed by direct appeal as opposed to what we call certiorari in the law profession. That is where you appeal just on the record and the court doesn't take additional evidence. Zoning decisions will now be subject to direct appeal. There'll be 30 days. All cities have to do this. There'll be 30 days for the appeal to be filed by a dissatisfied party to a zoning action. There's some other provisions that may never apply to the city of Dalton, or Whitfield County, but they're in there. They have to do with if a government initiates a rezoning of a single family zone to create a multifamily development, that certain additional procedures will be followed, 2 hearings, certain timeframes. This had occurred, I think, in the Atlanta metro area. It caught the attention of the legislature, and they've put that provision in and mandated all cities and counties adopt it. So that's really what we have on the table. Whitfield County, I think, has already approved it, and Varnell will approve it, we believe, tomorrow evening.
Why isn't Cahutta and Tunnel Hill involved in this?
They didn't join into the no, they're not participants in the UZO.
Any other questions? There a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Sams. Second by Mr. Farrer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Number 5, general construction agreement with the Surface Masters, Inc. for resurfacing of Lakeshore Park Track. Caitlin?
Good evening. This is a request to approve the general construction agreement with the Surface Masters. Last meeting, it was tabled so that we could just go through just general information between the school system and us to make sure we're all on the same page. I've been speaking with a representative with Dalton Academy. I know Andrew has been working with the superintendents, and we all are in agreement that we will go back with this track with asphalt. It'll be a practice facility for the schools. They'll compete at the high school at Dalton High, and then the school system will still install the field events over there so they can practice with them.
So everybody's happy with that?
Mhm.
All right. Question,
Yes,
schools still are not contributing any money at all toward it?
they're going to contribute. They're going to pay for the field events that they're going to install, and then we'll still follow through on our part with just the regular asphalt for the track.
Which the asphalt's gonna cost how much?
It's 212,000.
How much are the
213,000.
schools contributing for the field?
100,000.
I move that we take it off the table to vote on.
There a motion?
That's a motion, take it off the table.
Second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Sams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, now let's vote on it. But,
I move we approve it.
motion by Mr. Farrer,
Second.
second by Ms. Sams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 6, terms and conditions for the American Rescue Plan Act, improving neighborhood outcomes in disproportionately impacted communities grant program, Heritage Point Park Project. Caitlin?
Yes, so this agenda item is for the approval for the terms and contract or terms and condition for improving neighborhood outcomes in disproportionately impacted communities. This has to be signed and returned to the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget so that we can move forward in the next steps of the post-grant award process. If approved, electronic copy will be sent to Mayor Pennington for signing of the document, and electronic signature is a requirement of the grant post-approval process. In November of 2022, the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget requested applications for this grant. This program was made available through the American Rescue Plan Act state physical recovery funds. The grant opportunity will allow agencies, communities to develop features in those disproportionately impacted communities throughout COVID-19 by selecting and promoting projects that will promote health, such as fixing parks, green spaces, rec facilities, and so forth. So the city of Dalton submitted 2 projects. My department, we submitted a application to request funding for improvements at our Heritage Point complex. Improvements will include the installation of synthetic turf on all 10 infields. The expected cost of this project is $2,500,000. A local match will be required. We requested $2 million, but the city for this project was awarded $2.2 million. So the local match will be $340,000.
Any questions? Your motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Mock and second by Ms. Sams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Number 7, improving neighborhood outcomes grant terms and conditions form for the Pence and Cowder Street corridor improvements. Chad?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this is the exact same terms and conditions for the grant that Caitlin had just presented. One thing I will make note is that the authorized representative shown is currently Jackson Shepherd. That will change once they email you the digital signature copy, and you will be the authorized representative on it as well. With that, I'll take any questions on it.
What's the match on this one?
Our match is still up in the air as we not have finalized the budget.
Yeah.
But it's roughly around 800,000.
Okay. Any other questions?
Move we approve.
Motion by Mr. Fair, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Sams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Number 8, 615 Birchville Avenue Stormwater Improvement Corrective Action Plan, temporary construction and permanent drainage easements.
Yes, this is request is to approve the corrective action plan for stormwater improvements at 615 Birchfield Avenue. Scope of services include erosion protection along a drainage swell running alongside the driveway and improving drainage connection at box culvert spanning underneath the driveway where runoff from the road and drainage swell meet. There's an improper alignment with the drainage swell in the existing box culvert, which causes the driveway to the parcel as well as Birchfield Avenue to flood. The source of the water does derive from a good portion of city-owned property, part of that being Underwood Avenue. So once it was brought to our attention, we studied the area and realized that we were contributing a good source of that water to this parcel. This has been reviewed by the city attorney as well as Public Works Committee.
Questions of Chad? Your motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Sams.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Number 10, resolution 23-11, authorizing municipal utility property easements. Who's got this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do. On behalf of Mr. Parker, the Dalton Utilities has been requested by Georgia Power to allow certain trimming and maintenance activities at 4 easement sites on lands that they manage and own and hold for the city. These are part and parcel of some agreements they have with Georgia Power for various maintenance responsibilities between the 2 utilities. Those easements are identified by tax parcel and attached there. They've been vetted and approved, I believe, Mr. Yarborough, by the board of DU, but attorneys for the utility and the city attorney believe that they really ought to be approved here as well. So that's what's on the table before you.
Any questions, Terry? Your motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Sams. There's a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign. Number 11, resolution 23-13, authorizing conservation easements and declaration of conservation covenants and restrictions.
Yeah, again, Mr. Mayor and Council, on behalf of Mr. Parker, I'll cover this. Dalton Utilities, by agreement with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, get some benefit from land banking certain properties. And if necessary, John is here and Joe and can give any more detail about the location. But this property. I believe it's above maybe one of your water intake areas, isn't it? It's woodlands. And in order to qualify for this program with the Corps, they have to land bank the property with the Southern Conservation Trust. If you'll see, it's a big, long trust document in your packet there. The city is asked to approve this. It's already been approved by the Board of Water, Light and Sinking Fund, I believe this afternoon, if I'm not, is that correct? That's me. Yeah, thank you.
Any questions?
Move we approve.
Motion by Mr. Farrow, or second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Sam's. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Under
Mayor, you're gonna get to number 9.
Yeah, I was going to ask if we could go back to
Oh, I
number 9.
skipped that. Okay. Number 9, resolution 23-08 to make findings of fact concerning public use and necessity of a section of unopened Cooper Street to consider the vacating and abandonment of public interest into said portion of Cooper Street for public transportation use, to declare the closing of such section of Cooper Street, to authorize delivery of a quitclaim deed of interest of the city of Dalton, except utility easement to adjacent property owners, to establish an effective date and for other purposes.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, this is cleaning up really an old matter. Back in 1997, the city did close a portion of this, what was called unopened Cooper Street. And apparently the quitclaim was only for the south portion of the street. Your drawing with the ordinance in your packet, your legal description. Legal description is the entire north and south portion. The drawing is the north portion. The common property owner on both sides is was Cope Construction and now Larry Cope. So of course he's, through his attorney, Greg Kinnaman, made the application. So he's in agreement. No other property owners, as we vetted it, are affected by it. Mr. Parker and I made the decision that since the northern part wasn't quitclaim back then, we would go back and go through the regular motions, advertise publicly, and then get it properly on your agenda to approve.
Any questions? There a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Ms. Sam's. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Under announcements, number 12, the city council meeting scheduled for Monday, July 3rd, 2023 has been canceled. City offices will be closed Tuesday, July 4th, 2023 for Independence Day. The next city council meeting will be held Monday, July 17th, 2023. Your motion, we adjourn?
So moved.
We're adjourned.